How many sets of warm-ups do you do?
Between 0 and like 4. Depends on how I'm feeling. This one stretches a lot of the lats, so I usually do like 2 or 3 warm-up sets. Because I like to do this with like lower rep. Most people prefer to do it high rep, but I prefer to do it low. Okay, here we go. There we go. Takes a minute.
First set of the workout. How'd that feel?
Holy shit.
In a good way?
No. Like, I can never get this machine like to hit like perfectly without hurting my collarbone. But yeah, it's all right. Just not great. But I'll only do 2 sets and then I'll move on to something else. Whew. Oh, but fuck, my traps are lit the fuck up. God damn. Yeah, whenever I train at the other gym, I can never get my traps to light up. But here, it's very hard to get my rhomboids in. So, don't need as much trap as I need rhomboids. So. So I just finished the second set, and I was able to do the exact same number of reps compared to the first set. But the first set was definitely failure. How the fuck did that happen? It's because whenever you're doing something unilaterally, you always get to have more of strength output, so to speak, and express more strength. So if you do your first side bilateral, second side unilateral, you might be able to hit the same number of reps without cheating yourself.
What's your overall volume been like training wise for this push phase?
Man, it really oscillated. It started with like 70. I went up, tried all the way to 100. It's too much. Backed off to 80 something. Too much. So this first few weeks have just been like, you know, I haven't been to the gym in 2 months before these past 2 months. A little bit over 2 months. So just wasn't entirely sure like where my volume tolerance was, because when I plugged in the same amount of volume as the previous push phase, I was fucking dying. So right now my issue has been, after the second day, I'm done. I'm dead. So my leg training has been really shit. So I thought about just having a rest day to then have legs. Since I'm already gonna separate the legs by a rest day, thought why not raise the volume of arms since they're a little bit behind, and shoulders as well. Because if you think about it, my first competition would be in Classic. There aren't as many mandatory poses in Classic. You have a front double bicep, you have a back double bicep, you have a side chest. That's it. So lats, arms, like your arms are vulnerable in 2 out of 3 mandatory poses that you have. Shoulders are going to be appearing on 3 out of 3 mandatory poses, like a lot, and 2 of them pretty vulnerable. So I think I might do that, of just doing 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, because that will allow me to have more volume per session, but also just have more rest days in between. And I think I'll grow fine. But I just need to really get my fatigue under control, because right now I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of everything. So yeah, I definitely cannot continue with 3 on, 1 off, that's for sure. I'm so fucking tired. So this is how tired I am. I started this push phase, no stimulants whatsoever, right? Right now I usually take about 150, 200 milligrams of caffeine when I wake up, 25 milligrams of yohimbine, and 5 milligrams of Adderall. And then before workout, I take between 350 and 500 milligrams of caffeine. And then after the workout, another 2.5 milligrams of Adderall. And on most days, I'm falling asleep. Like I will literally just put my hand on my desk and sleep.
So you have a tolerance though for medications, stimulants.
Yeah,
that's
but
really
not really,
compared
because when I'm well rested, I'll take 50 milligrams of caffeine and that will be enough. So going from 50 to like 800 over the course of like 8 weeks, that's way too much.
Out of all the strategies to mitigate fatigue, which have you been focusing on?
Sleep, like absolutely just focusing a lot on sleep. And trying to nap throughout the day and just have like moments of like just doing nothing, hugging my dog and shit like that, because those are the main things. Then like I've been resistant towards lowering training volume, because when you think about like elite athletes, they can't really afford to lower training volume, so they have to invest in recovery strategies, right? True. So you try to maintain training volume and intensity to the very last minute. You only adjust dose, especially intensity, as a last resort. So after like 8 weeks of like progressive like moving volume and things like that, it's like, no, I need to have less volume. Not because I'm not growing, but not because my body's not recovering, because my body definitely is, but because my fatigue is taking over other areas of my life. Like it's taking a toll on my relationships and it's taking a toll at my work. And I just can't afford to do that because I'm not there in life, you know? So for me, it has been invest on sleep, invest in downtime, adjust training volume, and now adding more recovery days with the adjusted training volume to see if that solves it. Yeah. I don't know if I ever mentioned how much I hate this music. Someone was moaning pretty good. Okay. Come on, dude. All right, so here's one of my pet peeves at the gym. you have a cable stack. You have one stack that allows you to do anything from top to bottom, but not both sides, just one side, because there's only one tower. And on the inside, you have 2 towers. That allows for 2 more people to train, so 3 people total, or 2 people with one of them doing bilateral, like crossovers, reverse flies, or something like that, or like front delt raise, tricep extensions, and anything like that. So if you're gonna do something that only requires one fucking pulley, use the outside one, not the inside one, so that people that want to do both sides can do both sides, because you are able to do it both inside and outside. But the person using both cables can only do out fucking side. So don't piss me off on purpose. I know it's always on purpose. I got ops. Open your eyes. It's always a sad thing when you go to the gym and you're like the smallest person that looks like he trains while wearing a hoodie. So you never take the hoodie off. You add paddings to your shoulders to make it look like you have traps. That's the secret.
Nothing I can eat you like a batchy, cause you bad, bad, bad. On the game, now I'm riding up here, last day, you gotta do yeah. You my dog, so we dead, not a question, but I can't fuck with you like I want, cause you ready. Got $1 million in the wall, in the bed, you got it. Step on, got it hard, got it cracking on. Half a million, I still a warm over half a million. I can buy the bitch, I can work this shit out, it's for the truth. I can get this shit out and give it to the dealer. I'm what they can have when they do some shit. And I'm sliding in the salad, let's come in her side. Street show me ain't never had a sign. Give me them bitches in the bitch, I think I'm lying.
So, you know how it's a pain in the ass to remove the weights from top of from each other? Pro tip.
Genius.
Which they have this in Brazil, so if someone wants to make money in the US, create this product. Just a little slider separated. They have that in Brazil, they don't have that in the US. If you go heavy, this shit hurts the knees quite a bit. So raise this up and then add these underneath it. Now it's easier. Here we go. This push phase started with me like trying to find my calories. There's also been like trying to find my volume, how much recovery I need, back to my doses of what feels good and what doesn't, and all of this stuff. So this push phase is divided into 3 8-week parts for a total of 24 weeks. So now that I'm basically like, okay, I think this is the system that's gonna work, now I have 16 weeks to apply that. When you think about like how much time you have, I was thinking like, man, if I want to compete in 3 years, that's like 4 push phases if I keep my body fat very much in check. Like 4 push phases, let's say you add like 5 pounds each, man, I'm gonna be skinny on stage. Like, you gotta be very, very good with like doing everything to perfection, because there isn't much time. People think there is time. They think like, oh, I'm gonna look shredded for summer in July. That's 14 weeks of a cut, plus life happening, plus a reverse, plus you getting sick a couple of times. That's it. That's July of next year. So if you're ever under the impression that you have a lot of time to waste, put shit on paper, and you'll realize like you really don't have as much time. But the first 8 weeks were pretty good. I put on close to 20 pounds. So it was like 15 pounds, but it's like almost 2 pounds a week. So pretty good numbers. I'm still not back to where I was, but I'm very close to being back to where I was.
Sheesh, your arm. So veiny. Is this your Halloween underwear?
Yeah. My Halloween underwear. Bought it at this little store at church. It's from Matthew 24, you know, when the dead come back to life. In that account of Jesus' death.
Which part of your body were you hoping to improve over this push phase, like significantly?
Overall, no, everything overall, but I'm trying to bring my left side to match my right side.
Chest?
Yeah, so essentially, if I do 8 sets of this, I do 16 sets of this.
Damn.
It's coming up. Well, my arm is also starting to get a little bit
bigger.
Yeah.
And it's your left arm, and you are right-handed.
My left arm was always bigger than my right arm. Yeah. But if you take a look, like if I flex the left side, the lower chest disappears. And it doesn't have enough muscle for me to contract all the way to the top. Like only if I pull my shoulders in, but if I pull my shoulders in, I look like someone that has a fucked up collarbone and shoulder, which, you know, doesn't really help. But, so instead of having my shoulder here, my shoulder needs to be here. And still be able to contract. So I assume that by the end of the push phase, it'll be good, but still not perfect. I'll probably always have to do more sets of this side than this side, which for the back, it's really not that noticeable. I'm able to connect to my lats much better than I am with my chest, which makes sense given how big my lats are compared to everything else. So that's it. So we have fucking 8 weeks in. We will see each other again at 16 weeks in for another update, which by that time I'm gonna have blood work. Definitely gonna have the definitive answer towards the volume question and recovery. And yeah, hopefully I won't be as tired. So let's hope for that. But the goal now is just consistency. So I started eating, that's something I forgot to mention. I started eating, I think it was 2,600 calories. And I was just consistently losing fat until something like, I want to say 3,400 calories. So I just bumped it all the way up to 4,000. And then my non-training days is 3,500. And my weight jumped up a lot, but when I look week to week, it doesn't look like I gained that much fat. So I'm gonna keep pushing calories this push phase. I wanna know what's like my upper limit for calories before I start just getting fat. Instead of pushing the limits with everything else. So it's less volume, less supplements, more calories, more recovery. Different than the previous one. So we'll see how that goes. I will talk to you guys in 16 weeks. Peace.